How's it going, everyone? My name is MyReactions. Got back with part 2 of my favorite anime characters tier list. If you haven't seen part 1, I'll leave a link in the description to that video. Now I'm back with part 2. As I said in the previous video, I will leave timestamps to make sure you don't get spoiled from any of the animes that I've watched and or listed through here. I'm going to talk about a little bit about the anime very briefly and my favorite characters. I'm going to rank them on a tier list from S to F, S being the best, F being the worst. I did this live at twitch.tv/MyReactions, so make sure to drop a follow over there. It'd be very nice to see you guys over here. In the first part of this series, I guess you could say, I dealt with animes that started with the letter A, and I think I went through E. I think I ended on Erased. I'm not totally sure. It looks like I did end on Erased looking at my notes. I'm starting with F now, and I'm on Fire Force. So my favorite character in Fire Force is, so far, Joker, as you see right here. I really enjoyed him. He's not shown a lot. He has a pretty damn cool backstory of being, I don't even remember what they're technically called. He's like a priest. He's like a priest slash, I don't even know what to call it, but he's working like under the church and then eventually break free, and then it looks like he's kind of evil, but also kind of not. Almost like show what the church is doing and a lot of bad stuff that's going on, but it also looks like he's got his own intentions. I'm curious what future seasons hold. He was just a really cool, I'm going to call him a villain for now. Really cool villain. He's got a really cool firepower where he's got like playing cards, and he smokes. He looks badass. I really enjoyed him so far. I don't know if Joker's gonna stay my favorite throughout the series because Shinra and Benimaru also exist. I would all put them all in the same tier as a favorite character right now, and that would be a B tier character for me. This is for all my favorite characters, so I would definitely put others higher. I think by the end, I think I'm probably going to lean towards Benimaru or Shinra being my favorite character. I would also put them, as of right now, in the B tier, but I'd put them below Joker just slightly. But by the end of Fire Force being animated, my guess would be they're probably going to be in the A tier. A very low A tier character. But as of right now, I'm going to put them in the B tier. I didn't state this before, but I'm just going to put them in the tiers, and then by the end of the video, I am going to then... By the end of the video, I'll sort them in order from favorite in that tier to the least favorite, from left to right, left being the most favorite, my favorite, and then least favorite to the right. So next we have from the anime gamers, I think her name's Chiaki Hoshinomori. Pretty good. She gets cucked at the end, I guess. She likes the main guy character who never goes out with her. I kind of feel bad for her. She's like really antisocial and socially awkward, and then she kind of blossoms out throughout the anime, at least with a friend group. She's kind of like unkempt, doesn't really like try to make herself look presentable, and then she gets a makeover and eventually does keep herself that way, and she ends up, everyone thinks she's super hot and everything. Overall, Gamers was a P-OK. I would equate it to bottom tier character Tomazaki from the first set of videos. I would say it's basically the same thing. They both make gaming references, obviously. They're basically around some losers meeting up with smarter, more people that are better talking to people and stuff, more social people, and they become more social throughout, but it's centered a lot around video games. I would probably just give Chiaki a D. I could maybe see her in the C category, but the anime was okay, and she's an okay character. That being said, I don't think she's going to make it out of the D category. Next we have from The Great Pretender. His name is, I think it's Laurent Thierry. I wrote these are completely wrong out of order. I don't know why. I'm just going to roll with it though. I'll do Great Pretender even though Goblin Slayer and God Eater are both alphabetically ahead of it. So The Great Pretender, Laurent, it's about a bunch of con men. He's the head con man who kind of sets up a lot of these missions or helps out tremendously. Cocky, nonchalant, cool, as you come, cucumber. The anime is very, very good. If you haven't watched it, I thoroughly enjoyed it. By the end, you learn that he did a con. I think it was against the Chinese mafia. I could be wrong with that. And which resulted, it was going to be his last con or his last heist, whatever. And his girlfriend ends up getting killed doing the heist or the con. And then you find out that she's not really dead, surprisingly, which is kind of bullshit. I think it ruined the show a little bit, but that's not the real reason why it got ruined towards the end. Last heist wasn't that great, in my opinion. Last con. It's like just too much bullshit. Like the other ones were perfectly beautiful, well done, and everything. But you see some sympathy for him. He's a pretty damn good character. He's a mentor to the main character. I forget he's just like a kid Kamen that just like swipes wallets and shit, like very basic, and then he makes him into an actual good Kamen. I would probably give Laurent a C. Decent character. He's like the definition of a mid-tier C character, and that's where I'm gonna throw him. The next character is Goblin Slayer from Goblin Slayer. Now that I'm actually in order again, I don't know why this was out of order. Goblin Slayer from Goblin Slayer, I'm going to throw him in the C category as well. He just goes around killing Goblin Slayer. The anime is literally what it says it is. Goblin Slayer goes around killing goblins. You learn from his backstory that I think it's his village or whatever was ransacked by a bunch of goblins. They end up raping and pillaging and everything like that. And then he raped his sister, I think. And he learns firsthand how bad goblins can actually be. And then he devotes a lot of his life destroying goblins. He just constantly takes goblin slaying jobs as an adventurer. And you spend the entire anime just going around killing goblins. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait for season 2 of Goblin Slayer. I think season 2 will help me enjoy it even more. It was a pretty good anime. I don't know why a lot of people rag on it so much from what I've seen lately, especially too. I would recommend watching it. It was pretty good. There's also a movie that's pretty good. I would put it literally at the same level as the show. Like whatever you think it's just more episodes of the show really. I really hope that Goblin Slayer becomes more than just like just stubborn and wanting to just kill goblins constantly. Kind of develops a little bit more, and the show also develops from just purely goblins to you kill some other stuff, but goblins are maybe like the main cause of something bad happening. That'd be good. I don't know what actually happens. I haven't bothered looking at the books. Goblin Slayer's okay. I'll put him in C. I'm gonna shuffle these by the end to where they belong, but I'll put him in a C tier category. So next character is I think it's Lindow Amamiya from God Eater, according to my notes. Pretty badass character. Very disappointed kind of with the God Eater show, maybe for several reasons. One, it only had the one season. Two, I heard a lot of good things about the video games series, and then I was kind of disappointed with the show. But I mean, Lindow Amamiya is one of the best parts of the entire show. Badass, willing to risk his life to help others. I mean, he literally did so by the end where he dies, but then I looked up, and then I think he gets taken over by, I don't even remember what they're called, whatever monsters there are. I want to say kaiju, but I might be wrong with that. Kaiju's a popular word with animes. Badass and just smoking all the time. He's helpful. He tries to learn of what the bad, like anything bad is happening in the backseat. He helps people. Yeah, I mean, he set up a whole settlements, I should say, completely away from the main one where he's headquartered or whatever, to try to help people survive. Very, very good person, badass, very, very helpful. He's a good mentor. 100%, I think he belongs in B tier above Goblin Slayer and Laurent so far in this one. If you did watch part 1, I definitely need to reshuffle probably some of those characters even right now, but I will do another video in the future at some point where everybody will be in one, and then I'll rank each character and fix everything. But for now, Lindow Amamiya, I think 100% deserves a B tier. So next we have, I forget her name from Guilty Crown. It's Ayase Shinomiya. She's the girl in the wheelchair who pilots one of the mechs. She feels bad when her leader dies. I think his name's Guy. Yeah, the leader's Guy. She feels bad when he dies, but he doesn't really die the first time anyway. Guilty Crown was a pretty interesting anime. It's really weird. There's a couple of like really, it's like a really weird school arc or whatever, where they're like trapped within the city in their own school, basically. So Inori's the favorite character in the show for this. I have no fucking clue why. She's got about 9,600. I think the next closest is Shu with like 3,300. I have no fucking clue why. Can someone tell me why Inori's, in the comments down below, why Inori's so popular? Like the ending, why she gives up her life to help Shu live, and then she becomes part of, she's like with Shu forever, kind of. She was boring as fuck. She wasn't a good character throughout. Also, I didn't really care. I personally didn't really care for Shu. He was like okay as a character. I'd put him in F just because of all the stuff he fucked up. And he was just a bitch a lot of the show. I can understand you liking him, and like he has somewhat of a redemption arc, but there's just so many problems with him. And then there's even more problems, I would say, with Inori just being boring as fuck. I have no idea why people would like her. And I feel like one specific scene where she risks her life shouldn't make her your favorite. Otherwise, other characters and other shows should definitely be your favorite as well. Anyway, coming back to reality with Ayase, I put Ayase in C tier, I'd say. She's pretty good. She's one of the few people in the show that's good. I like the other girl I forget her name. She ends up dying with the bandages power. She liked Shu, and Shu liked her as well. I would 100% think that those two are the best characters. It's not really close. I might end up moving Ayase probably down to D tier, like towards the top, but I'll put her in C for now. I'm probably gonna end up putting her in D tier though. Next we have from High Rise Invasion, it's Sniper Kamen. I'd like to see a second season of this purely just because I want to know Sniper Kamen's backstory. He's the most interesting part. You don't really, he's friends with the main girl character's brother, but that's basically all you know. And then he got this mask put on him, but now he's got some semblance of autonomy where he's actually able to control his actions now. I think Sniper Kamen's 100% a C tier character. I would say Sniper Kamen's probably a C tier character. And with me doing that, I'm just moving Ayase down to a D tier character just from that alone. Looking in the future, there's a lot of, I would probably just say C tier characters in this specific episode. High Rise Invasion was alright. Had some pretty badass moments and decent gore and stuff, but I feel like the fighting can be better, especially since a lot of them have weird powers or specific fetishes with weapons. Overall, the show was okay. Basically, I just want a second season purely for Sniper Kamen. He's the coolest character. Otherwise, if there's not gonna be a second in a couple of years, I'd probably just end up reading the manga to see what the story is. All right, now it's Horny Hour with High School DxD. If you've ever seen it, I'm sure most people have heard of High School DxD. And you have Akeno, and I've been putting her in C tier. great waifu material type of girl. It's a pretty cool backstory of part. I think she's like, is it part angel, part demon? I don't remember, or devil now because of Rias accepting her into the thing. Pretty cool thunder powers. The jealousy thing's pretty cool. None of the characters are like that well written in High School DxD, and it's obviously just there for like fan service types of things. It's an okay anime. If the story was better, it'd actually be P good. But overall, Akeno's pretty good waifu material. She's best girl in the show. I'm putting her in C tier. Next character is from the anime How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom. It's on season 1 part 2 or season 2. I don't technically know or remember. I think it's season 2 technically. I'm gonna make the interim king, whatever you want to call him, Souma. I think Souma Kazuya Souma, yeah. So he's isekai'd into a world where he's basically meant to be, I think it's like essentially a sacrifice or a payment from one of the kingdoms, but he ends up rebuilding the kingdom from scratch. The anime's starting to get pretty damn good with it. If you love history, like the subject history from school, I would 100% recommend this anime because it just feels like basically a history class. Not historical things don't happen, but it's like kind of old school how to run a kingdom type of things, and it's like just watching it live. And there's some elements of like magic and fighting and harem aspects in the anime. I'm on episode, I think only one more episode's come out, which I missed. It's 19. So it's still going on, and I shouldn't really include it in this video, but I'm going to anyway. So as of right now, Souma is I'm going to put him as a D tier character. At some point, I'm assuming one of his harem girls are going to take over a little bit and become a little bit better. But at this point, even I don't think anyone's probably going to pass maybe the C tier at the best. So I'm going to put him at D for now. He's got a really cool power in the show too, which I want him to... They basically just stopped showing where he can like possess objects. So he's like writing a bunch of papers in the background, and he controls like a huge cloth ninja thing. It's pretty cool. I wonder if they'll do more with that, but as of right now, I'm gonna put him in D. The next anime is Hyouka. Fantastic anime, very, very chill, slice of life, Sherlock Holmes-esque anime where the main character and my favorite character, I think it's Hotarou. It's been so long since I watched this anime. Yeah, Hotarou Oreki. He's just lazy, and I think he just sits in the literature club, I'm pretty sure. And then a girl comes by, and bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, wants to learn the answers to a bunch of mysteries, and they're very minor things throughout the school. Like one of them's who has a book that's checked out. One of them's they actually bring them a murder mystery movie that's being made, and they have to figure out, or the people who are making the movie want Hotarou to figure out who would be the best person to be the murderer in a weird murder mystery thing. The entire anime as a whole is just fantastic. It was very enjoyable slice of life, and Hotarou reminds me of me, because he's antisocial. He doesn't really want to talk to people, but when pressed, he's willing to, and then he's always willing to help people. Very, very enjoyable slice of life anime. I think it's 24 episodes. I could be wrong with that. One of the first animes I actually watched, I think it was like one of my first 10. The anime as a whole is just very, very comfy. It's one you can just lay in bed, and it's very enjoyable to watch, at least for me. I gave it a mid-8s rating out of 10. It's that good. So I'll put them in B for now. And then an anime that I think is better than Hyouka, but I've basically seen no one talk about, is It Invaded. And this is the main character in It Invaded, which is Akito Narihisago. I'm butchering the fuck out of his name. Akito becomes the great detective Sakaido in some weird, I don't even know what to call it. Like, he enters some machine and he goes in somebody's well in their id, which is where people would want to kill other people. Obviously, that's where you feel they're wanting to kill someone, and he can do that before they kill someone, actually, or he can do it afterwards. They just need some like weird molecule things. It's really interesting. It's sci-fi. He goes around figuring out the murders, and there's a big thing by the end where this guy's trying to morph both that world and the actual world. It's very, very interesting. Another, I would say, comfy anime. It's a murder mystery type of anime where it's really, really fun to watch. I would give this I give this a 9. It Invaded. It's one of my favorite animes I've watched. And I was thoroughly surprised at how good it was, because I picked it up just because I heard about it briefly, and I was thoroughly surprised at how good it was. Sakaido, he turns into this guy. He looks pretty similar to him, but he's older and rugged and has like a very short, stubbly beard. Kind of looks like a drunken like detective that failed and now is left with other duties. So it doesn't look like this, but when he enters the Edwells, then he looks like this, or like a professional detective, I guess you could say. Overall, anime is fantastic. That being said, I don't think my favorite character in it, Akito, is worth anything more than a C. He could maybe sneak into B. I don't think he will, though. I'm putting him in the C tier. I don't think the characters really make the show in that game, for It Invaded, even though the characters are good. But I think the story plus with some of the characters help it, but the story definitely is much better than that. Plus, this is based off of favorite characters in the show, and then basing them off of other favorite characters that I have. So it's a little bit difficult to rate some of these characters, even if I love the anime thoroughly. Next, I have the old man from Inuyashiki. I would put, I think the kid that mirrors him in Inuyashiki is named Hero, as kind of a joke, a meme, because they both are killed in a park and become robots with like ridiculous superpowers. And this old man becomes an actual hero, and then the kid Hero is actually a villain, goes around killing a bunch of people. I put it as the old man. I don't think the characters really carry the show. The premise kind of does. There's a lot of cool parts, and I mean, some of the best parts is just where the kid goes around on a killing spree of a bunch of people, and then it's just weird because he goes around just saying bang with a finger gun and he kills someone, and he goes around massacring with like the noises of like and then just mows down people like he has a gun, but he actually doesn't. Well, basically he's just a weapon himself. I'm gonna put Inuyashiki, the man from Inuyashiki, the anime, in F tier. Like I said, the characters I wouldn't really necessarily say are the best part of Inuyashiki, even though I do think it's a pretty good anime. I think the best part is the actual idea of the show is very, very good. And the ending was very solid. I think it was a great way to end the anime. Both of them risking their lives or giving up their lives ends up being to save the world. Because they're not really supposed to be there. But in that capacity as like giant, or not giant robots, but like robots. Next character is Irina from Irina the Vampire Cosmonaut. Top tier waifu. As it might end up being the best character overall in this, probably the best character in this section. I'm gonna put her in A tier. She's top tier waifu. Irina, yet another history one, just like or a history like, just like how a Realist hero rebuilt the kingdom, where you feel that. But this is literally based off of history during the 1950s, where trying to send a person to the moon, they take that and they put it in Russia. Irina's a vampire, and she becomes a cosmonaut. She's the first person in space, first vampire technically in space. And you spend the entire time. She spent the entire time training, and she's not going to get credit because people don't recognize really vampires or women, obviously, in that time frame as, I guess, is really people, and actually like a normal person. By the end, she gets recognized because her best friend who helps train her ends up helping her out, helping her out and getting her recognized. I like the romance aspects were pretty good. I thought history-wise it was very good. It's always nice to enjoy history, and because I like I said before, I enjoy the history aspect, and this is right up my alley. And I recommend it if you like history. You should watch this anime specifically. I think it's very underrated. She starts off like a tsundere, kind of hard to get, and then she eventually grows into I'll say a better character, and eventually kind of gets with the guy at the end. I forget the main character's name. I think his name's Lutz. Either way, the show's fantastic, and I think she's a great character. I'm gonna put her in A. She doesn't belong in S. She can maybe move down to B, but as of right now, I'm going to keep her at A. All right, we have 5 more characters left. Next one is pretty damn obvious to see. It's Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't know why I drew a blank from there. So future-wise, I think he's going to be I'll say a great character, and he is a great character right now. But with that being said, I think he's the best character in Jujutsu Kaisen. But I do think, in my opinion at least, I think Itadori towards the end will be my favorite character. So that's at least what I think, but as of right now, it's Gojo. I would say Gojo's very overrated as a favorite character, but then a lot of people are like kind of simping and just love him, so I'm not going to blame that really, because obviously I simp for I love other characters that they don't like, so I can understand that. But I do think Gojo is overrated. He is very strong and everything like that. And he's a good character. But I was expecting more, I guess. I guess I bought into the hype of expecting more from a character, and he didn't really deliver that for me, at least. So I'm going to put him in C tier. I'll sort these by the end. But as of right now, I'm putting him in C tier. And definitely by the end of the anime of Jujutsu Kaisen, I definitely could see him or Itadori, I would say, are the two that are fighting for number one spot. For me, at least. I'd say by the end, I could definitely see either of them in S tier. But for right now, I'm going to say he's overrated right now. I'm putting him in C. I want to see more from him, and I'm going to see more from him, obviously, when more episodes come out. But I think he is a little overrated right now. We have Kaguya-sama Love is War, and it's the best girl. If you've actually seen the anime where he actually dresses up as a girl at one point, it's a Yu Ishigami. Yu is, I think, easily an A tier character for me. His comic relief is top tier. There's very few characters where the screen time they get, it's just almost always funny, and Yu Ishigami just nails it every single time, for at least for me. I could definitely see Kaguya-sama wise my favorite character changing to maybe Kaguya or Ayase or Chika, maybe one of those three. Besides Ayase, I put Ayase at C, but I'd put the two other girls, Chika and Kaguya, definitely probably in B tier if I was just doing all characters, period. I think Yu right now is just so fucking good. He's so funny. And story-wise, he's entertaining, he's funny. I think he's good to like kind of melt the tension between the two lovebirds of Kaguya, and I forget the guy's name, and I just think the self-loathing and just the depression things, it's just perfect, beautiful. A tier character for me. We have 3 more animes left. I'll name the animes and I'll name the characters. So first we have Kakushi Goto, the anime, and the main character is also Kakushi Goto. We have Kengan Ashura, and the main character is Oma Tokita. And then we have Kill la Kill, and we have Ryu, who is Riku Matoi, versus Kakushi Goto from Kakushi Goto. I'm gonna put him in C tier. So there's a lot of C tiers as of right now in this specific episode, which might mean that some of them are I would feel like some of them might get cut off by when everything's said and done. But for this episode, as of right now, C tier, I'll put Kakushi Goto. He's a manga writer who does dirty manga. He doesn't want his daughter to find that out. I think it's a very solid anime. I think it has like an 8 on my anime list, which I was thoroughly surprised about. I don't think it's that good. It's very entertaining. He draws dirty manga. He doesn't want his little daughter to know. He doesn't want her knowing that he draws dirty shit, so he tries to hide it as best he can. It's just enjoyable throughout, actually. Obviously, with drawing lewd manga, it's like dirty jokes, but they're like childish dirty jokes too. And he's pretty well respected, but also not well respected. Like his works are respected to an extent, but at the same time they're made fun of, obviously, because they are dirty mangas, and for the most part, it's kind of like everyone rags on isekais because they're so easy to write. Similarly with it's gag manga, they call it throughout. Similarly with that, they just all make fun of him for that. I'm gonna put him in C. He's very funny. He's also very caring of his daughter, obviously. He loves her and tries to do the best, his best for her. So I'll put him in C for now. But like I said, he might fall down into the D tier at some point. Second to last anime we have is Kengan Ashura, and we have Oma Tokita, the main fighter, who he wants revenge for whoever killed his master, I think. So Kengan Ashura is just about a basic underground fighting ring, UFC type of fights, but to the death. Or it can be UFC, but they end up using weapons sometimes and various other things. Oma's pretty cool. He has some like weird power thing where he like kind of turns into like a demon or something. I don't even know what to call it. And he just like turns on another gear and just beats the shit out of people. They do a giant underground fighting exhibition thing to see who's going to be the next leader of Kengan Ashura, the underground fighting exhibitions. Oma, I'd probably put a D tier character. He's okay. Decent backstory. It's just a very basic backstory of wanting revenge on someone killing his master. Not great. I want the animation to be a little bit better in next season of Kamen. I'm not sure if there is a next season. There's been 2, I think it's like 40 something episodes, or 36 or something. I don't remember exactly how many. Might even be 24 total in 2 seasons. It's a pretty solid anime. And then final anime we have here is Kill la Kill and Ryoku Matoi. I'm sure most people have seen an anime. It's the anime with scissors and you're fighting in scantily clad clothes. A lot of fan service to an extent with the show. It's a very enjoyable show, and I think Ryoku Matoi is a B tier character. She's trying to get revenge for her dad dying, and she finds out she's sisters with, is it Sasuke Kiryuin? She's a solid character. I think you find out like she's part clothing or something. It's weird. It's a really weird anime where clothes are also like sentient beings, and they're trying to like take over the world. And then this one academy's using clothes to give people superpowers essentially, and they can like transform and shit. I really like the anime. It's pretty damn cool. I like weird concept animes, and this one's definitely probably one of the weirdest that kind of makes sense throughout when you're watching it anyway. And I'd definitely recommend watching it. And I think Riko is a B. She's hot-headed, but her head's in the right place. She's very aggressive. Fight scenes are great. And she's also funny. I would put her in a B tier. Alright, I got done changing the order of my favorite character to least favorite character in the order. Left being most favorite, and then least favorite on the right side. So F tier is Inuyashiki. D tier is Chiaki Hoshinomori, Ayase Shinomiya, Souma Kazuya, and Omatakita. C tier is Gojo, Akeno, Goblin Slayer, Laurent, Akihito, Kakashi Goto, and Sniper Kamen. B tier is Joker, Hotarou, Lindow, Amamiya, and Ryoku Matoi. A tier is Ishigami and Irina. S tier is no one from this video specifically. I'll link the other videos so you can see who are F and S tier from animes I've watched that begin with the letter A through E. This one's F through most of K. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like. Comment what you think of these characters. Where would you rank them as is? Again, tell me why the hell Inori from Guilty Crown is so beloved. I did this live on Twitch at twitch.tv/MyReactions. So come over there and drop me a follow and spend some time out and hang out with me. It'd be greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.